Hi Khalid, how are you? I'm Gregory DeFalco. We spoke on the phone today. I greatly appreciate your time. I wanted to talk for a few minutes about Elevate Education and the things that I found the most inspiring about what you guys do. I was studying your website, and then I'll talk about me for a moment. So the three things that I really took from my studying of your website was the core principles of what you do for staff and faculty, which is engage or inspire, critical thinking, and lastly, building good life habits. And I think these are great and also work well together. And so part of what I would do, if I'm lucky enough to be a part of what you do, is to help inspire the kids, right? I watched your videos, and the principals were talking about how the kids related so well to the speaker, and that's critically important. It's not just the information; it's how you portray, give the information, right? So you want to be humble, little self-deprecating, not take yourself too seriously, but also command a room, speak intelligently, lucidly, and inspire these kids, because inspiration is what gets it all going. We want to inspire these kids and the faculty to enjoy learning, enjoy the process of self-growth. And so that's the first step, is the engaging, the inspiring. So that's super important. The second thing, critical thinking. I was really, really thrilled that you mentioned that, because my experience with education in the past, when I was a student, was not that much of that, and more about just memorize this and memorize that. There's a place for memorization and good old-fashioned discipline in that regard, but you being a critical thinker, it doesn't mean you're defiant or you're difficult or you're non-disciplined, right? You can do everything you need to do and do everything you're assigned to do, but also think about things in a creative way, in a different way. What would I do if I thought about it this way? What if it were this way? Maybe I'm going to ask the teacher, have you ever thought about it this way? That's a positive thing. Critical thinking leads us to the last part, which is the lifelong habits. We want critical thinking because we want these people to excite themselves about what they're studying and what they're learning. We want to not just tell them, you do this and you do that. We want to inspire them to do their own thinking. Certainly to follow directions and listen, because that's the start. But take it from there and go a step beyond. And you're going to start to enjoy learning and growing. And what happens is, when you start doing that, you build discipline and you feel proud of yourself. And that makes you want to study more and try other things more. And that's exactly what you're talking about. It's building lifelong habits. It's not do this and do that because we say so. It's you want to do it, and that's why you do it. So those are the three core elements that I think you guys focus on, that I think all work very well together, which is great. About me, just for a minute. I have spent most of my 20 years doing Photoshop work, but I realize now that that's not what I was meant to do. What I was meant to do is what I'm trying to do with you, which is help others, motivate others, and I'm also an artist. I'm a portrait artist. Show Who You Are Portraits is my website. I help foundations like the Special Olympics raise funds by doing portraits of people with disabilities or other kinds of challenges. So that's my art. And the other thing I've always been good at and love doing is public speaking and helping, teaching, and inspiring. I teach for NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. I help students. I speak with students, nurses, doctors about the importance of mental health and facing challenges on a daily basis. I also host painting events. I've done them for children in public schools in Brooklyn and the Bronx. I've also done for children at private events and adults. Every age, every race, everything. And when you do that, it seems like it's kind of not that relevant, but it's very relevant, because when I host a paint and sip, it's a combination of entertainment, fun, relaxing, and learning and growing. And I inspire my students to challenge themselves. It's just like the critical thinking you talk about. Don't just do what I say. Don't just pick up the brush and paint blue because you're painting the ocean. You have freedom. Be creative. Take chances. If you have questions, call me over. We'll talk it out. But don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to follow your instinct. Ask questions, feedback. So it's a great way to read audiences, different people, what their needs are and what they want. And I also saw that a lot of the students, the principals were talking about how the students really connected with the speakers because they're kind of funny and they're fun and they can relate. I do some stand-up comedy, and that's kind of what I do. It's self-deprecating kind of humor, and what I've learned from that, not only is fun, but you learn how to read an audience. You learn how to read who are the people you're talking to. What are they looking for? Is it going well? Is it not going well? And also with rejection, plenty of times, I can't tell you how many times I've said something that I think is hysterical, and it was just, you could hear a pin drop. So if I'm talking to students or faculty and they're not liking what I'm saying or they're not agreeing, you can't get upset. You're there for them. You're there to inspire them. So you have to work together. It's a partnership. It's leadership, but it's also partnership. So thanks a lot, Khalid. I really appreciate your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you. It's nice to talk to somebody who cares about what they do, which you obviously do. I hope to meet you soon, and we'll take it from there. Have a great weekend, and thank you.